Hello again, YouTube community. This is the Truth Man. And like I told you on the last video, I've been on a 1 week YouTube vacation because of what I said about the vax. But hopefully, YouTube won't start censoring the heck out of me, my other content. I'm going to try not to talk about that no more on here. You want to hear what I got to say about that, you have to go on BitChute. But I got an interesting one for you today. All of them are interesting for people who want to learn. But this one in particular is for the women. It's for the women. Like, I watch a lot of YouTube and I hear a lot of women talking a lot of stuff. And I want to talk about, the title of this one is What a High Body Count Woman Needs to Do First. Now we're going to go to John chapter 4 first. Again, women, ladies. According to God himself, you are not the prize. You're there to help. And a lot of people, a lot of wives don't want their husbands dealing with men, and that's perfectly fine. You want to keep up the illusion. I get it. But you're there to help the man. You're there to make the man's vision happen. How is it that I see time and time again women who going this way and their man going this way? But even though they going this way, they getting pedestalized. And then they wonder why stuff just don't come together financially, physically, this, that, and the other. Because you're trying to take something that the Most High created along with his creation called marriage, and you're trying to make it like it's Play-Doh or something. You're trying to turn it into something else, when your blessing is in keeping it the way it is. And I'm going to give you an example today. I'm going to start from John chapter 4, verses 17 through 20, but we're going to be going back and forth through this chapter. This is the woman at the well. And we'll start at verse 15. The woman said to him, the Messiah, the one whose name they changed to Jesus, added all these details and parallels, but he's still a Messiah, he's still a son of God. For those of you who will disagree with me and try to say I'm saying this and that, I believe in the Messiah. I don't call him Jesus. My beliefs are more deeper and advanced. So don't try to sit up here. If you can't beat me in the argument, just step off. Don't try to accuse me of something that I'm not saying. So in John 4 and 15, it says, the woman said to him, Sir, give me this water so that I will not be thirsty, nor come all the way here to draw water. Why did she say this? Because if you go up a couple more verses, well, let's keep reading. We'll go to that in a second. In verse 16, it says, he said to her, go call your husband and come here. Now, for those of you women who having sex, you using sex as a punishment and reward. You using sex to get provided for. You using sex, you going against the very way of God. And you think that it's perfectly fine. Watch how the Messiah exposes her. See, this is how people need to do. But, of course, these countries, they're more, well, I ain't gonna even go there. We're gonna save all of that for BitChute. You gotta go to BitChute. Subscribe to me on BitChute. Truthman247. He said to her, go, call your husband and come here. See, this is the original order thing. All that women out front making decisions without their husband, they didn't do that back in these days. But he also was saying that because he was finna expose her. The woman answered and said to him, I have no husband. See, they were Samaritans. They didn't necessarily know exactly how things, according to Scripture and according to the Most High, were supposed to be. And that's why you don't want to condemn people to hell until they learn. You tell them, listen, this, the hell is real, and this how it's gonna be. This. If you don't know the truth, stop preaching. See, a lot of y'all preaching, and ain't nobody getting saved. Ain't nobody growing. Ain't nobody hungry growing, because you're not preaching the truth. I guarantee you. Watch. See, y'all can try to bring up YouTube. Nobody listening to you on YouTube. But check out my BitChute, though. BitChute probably don't censor as much as YouTube. And when I get in public, I want to hear you say that. I want to hear you say that nobody's listening to me. When I get away from all these, see, I'm still in my hometown. You all know what the Bible says about that. No prophet is accepted in his hometown. But so it says, he said, go call your husband and come here. The woman answered and said to him, I have no husband. He said to her, you have correctly said, I have no husband. For you have had 5 husbands, and the one whom you now have is not your husband. This which you have said is true. See, he exposed her. Now watch what she say. I perceive that you are a prophet. Because he knew how many people she slept with, and he knew she was getting... So, in other words, he knew how many people smashed her, and he knew she was getting smashed right now. And he showed her that just to show her, look, I'm finna teach you something. And that's what I'm saying to y'all women. I'm finna teach you something. So, she tried to go back to what she was taught. You know how these women, they getting knocked back, but then they grew up in the church. They used to go to church. So now she said, okay, he wanna do this. Watch this. She tried to fire back. She said, our fathers worshipped on this mountain, and yet you Jews say that in Jerusalem is the place where one must worship. And this is what he said to her. Believe me, woman, that a time is coming when you will worship the Father neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You Samaritans worship that you do not know. We worship what we do know, because salvation is from the Jews. Now back then the Jews was different, something different, but we ain't, again, for the sake of censorship. Now, it says, but a time is coming and even now has arrived, that when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and in truth. This is what he's telling the high body count woman. Now watch what he say. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and in truth. Now I don't understand what a lot of y'all don't get about this. I'm telling you as a prophet, there's a way that you're supposed to worship God. And it's in spirit and in truth. What does that mean? That means that you gain a connection with the Most High first. He declares you righteous. The truth is that only he can declare you righteous. That's the truth. You can't be righteous. You can't be righteous. You don't know all the details. We know what we reading, and that's what the woman tried to say. We know what we read. We know what preachers tell us. But it's all about the true revelation from God. That's the truth. God is spirit. They that worship him must worship him in spirit, within, from within, not the outside in, not eating bacon. In spirit. In spirit. You worshiping him in spirit. It's not no mystery whether or not he exists. You not just a person who is trying to say this and say that on the outside. You want people to think you spiritual. But God is spirit. He is a spirit. And they that must worship him in spirit and in truth. What does that mean? That his spirit is in his car. Can I see it? No. Can you convince me that it don't exist? All the atheists in the world, the militaries, nobody can convince me that he doesn't exist. The mark of the beast, nothing is going to convince me that he doesn't exist, because I'm persuaded that he exists. I'm persuaded that he created the heavens and the earth, and I view everybody that would try to tell me otherwise as fools. That's what it means to worship in spirit and in truth. The truth. What's the truth? The truth is not what you say. The truth is the truth. What's the truth? What's the absolute truth? That God is a spirit, that God is real, that God exists, that he creates, that he empowers, that he takes away, that he judges. That's the truth. Now, what's the falsehood? Women lead men, you can't play the lottery, you can't eat a baked BLT. That's not the truth. That's not in spirit and in truth. Because if you want to get technical, Noah, the reason why Peter, he told him to slay and eat, because he was basically showing Peter that he's supposed to be under the Noahic dietary laws. But that's a whole nother, we ain't going to get into that. And I'm not going to argue with you with that. If you want to think I'm going to hell, it's your brain. You can think what you want, but you can't put me there. So that's what it means. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. You have to know the truth. You have to learn the truth. See, these religions give you a little piece, but the little piece that you take, it better be the truth. It better be the truth, because the devil has purposely put paganism and practices that the Most High hates into these religions. So when you worship him, you better worship him in the truth. And me, as the last days prophet, my job is to tell you that the true faith is faith. Faith in God, faith in the word, faith in... I'm going to show you how to have it. I'm going to show you. So the woman had a high body count. For her time, 5 was like 50, was like 500. She had sex with 5 men. And she was having sex with a 6th man when the Messiah came to her. So this, look, now going up some, it says that he was tired, right? So he was sitting by the well. It says she came up to the well. He asked her, give me a drink. See, that's how they used to talk to women. See, y'all women, the first thing y'all need to do is get right and learn to worship God in spirit and in truth. Not find you a man. Once you get that first part established, then you will know what your role is as a man's wife. You see how he was talking to her? Give me a drink. These women, you talking about get you a drink, get yourself a drink. That's today's woman. And then what happened? Here come the police. Woo! Here come the police. I'm like, oh man, you know, always doing, we just had a disagreement, man. She swung on me first, man, blah, blah, blah. The police, boop, hitting you in the head. That's today's world. Back then, you try to do something to a guy who correcting his wife, you would get stoned to death by the rest of the villagers. All this stuff that's going on is not correcting the world. It's intentionally set up to destroy the world. But anyway, for the sake of censorship, come on YouTube. Hey, how you doing, video reviewers? But then she says, I perceive that you are a prophet. Once he exposed her, right? Then he told her, you must worship in spirit and in truth. So they continuing to talk. She says she tried to disrespect them, which most high body count women would do to a prophet that corrects them. She tried to disrespect them on a sneak, right? Now watch this. He was telling her who she was. He was exposing, he was preaching the word. And she says in verse 25, I know that Messiah is coming, he who is called Christ. When that one comes, he will declare all things to us. So in other words, she knew he was exposing the truth to her, but she wasn't trying to hear from him. Maybe he didn't have the right clothes on. Maybe he didn't have a bankroll in his hand. Maybe she was a gold digger during biblical time. You know. So she tried to downplay who he was. So he had to tell her who he was. He said, I am he, the one speaking to you. Now, he wasn't calling himself God. He wasn't calling himself God. See, she tried to say he was a prophet. He wasn't a prophet. He was the prophet. So he said, I'm the one that's speaking to you. He was the Son of God. Like all this stuff about virgin birth, all that, we don't know how that went down. What I believe, according to my research and studies, that he is a Son of God, that we made in the image and likeness of God. So the fact that we can bear children, that we can cause children to be born, what makes you think he can? But anyway, to stay on the subject. So he basically said to her that he was the one. And then it says, at this point his disciples came and they were amazed that he had been speaking with a woman, yet no one said, what are you seeking? See, back then people looked at you funny when you just talking to women and stuff. They think you trying to get a little bit. So they started looking at it like, oh, what's going on here? So then she went to her people. She said, come see a man who told me all the things that I have done. This is not the Christ, is he? So they going down. It basically was saying in verse 39, now from that city many of the Samaritans believed in him because of the word of the woman who testified, he told me all the things that I have done. One reason why it's a famine in the word of God in the United States and in the world is because people reject the true prophet. They think that a prophet is, I see your car that you're going to have in the future. Now, he told her, he went right in her business. You done got smashed 5 times and you got somebody at home right now smashing. And she know that nobody tell him that because he wasn't even from there. So the first thing that women with high body counts need to do is learn the truth about God, accept it, and be regenerated by it. And then for the rest of your life, even if you don't have a man, that's perfectly fine. Just serve the Most High. Serve the Most High. But more than likely, he will give you a man. You know, you don't want to be messing men over because he might be like, well, I just gave you a good man. You had a good man. You was trying to punk him. He ain't going to say it like that, but. So that's the first thing they need to do. You need to get right with God. Now, from an earthly standpoint, don't be lying, acting like you ain't did nothing. When you get that man and y'all start liking each other, you tell him the truth. I went through my little whole phase. Tell the truth. Just like that. Tell him. Don't be like, why are you questioning me? And then he trying to please you sexually, and you done had all these partners. At least he'll know, like, most guys, if they know how to deal with women, he'll be like, well, okay, so what do you like? If he like you and he find out you had a lot of sex partners, he gonna try to find out what you like. Because what he might been doing his whole life, that might not work. But anyway, we gonna continue these topics of discussion. Get right with God first. Stop looking for a man. Y'all out here looking for men. You done got broke off many times. So now you need a little help finding that man. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, but you need to find the man above first. All of you women with high body counts. And I want to thank you for watching. Keep tuning in. This is the truth, man. Hit that like button. Put this on your Instagram. Put it on your Facebook. Subscribe. I need 1,000 subscribers. I need 1,000 of you to subscribe right now. So soon we could just have a little service on Sundays. But thanks for watching.